The Ford Taurus 2 decades ago used to be the best-selling car in America, later replaced by the Toyota Camry with that title, and having a rental car stigma rolling into the 2000s, Ford gave the Taurus a complete redesign in 2010, and it was a major departure from previous models as it moved up to being a full-size sedan instead of a midsizer. It was a great initial start, but now in its 6th model year of production, you may find competitors to be a little bit more appealing now. But let's go ahead and check out this 2015 Ford Taurus Limited. Now, as far as styling goes on the Taurus, I think it has aged pretty well. You still have some pretty sharp looking headlights with projectors. And then at the bottom right there, you do have some LED accenting lights. Now, the Taurus got a pretty big refresh for the 2013 model year. Mostly it was all cosmetics and some upgraded features too. Now here goes the key fob for the vehicle. Now I do have a little minor gripe, and that is the length of the key fob can be a little big for some pockets. But overall, it's a fairly high quality looking design here. Now you do have your remote engine start, your lock, unlock to release your trunk, and then your panic button. Now the Taurus is also a pretty tall vehicle for a sedan when you compare it to other sedans, and it's also based off of the same platform as the Lincoln MKS, and basically the MKS is a little bit more luxurious, a little bit more elegant and stylish, but on the interior of the two vehicles they pretty much do look the same. Of course the MKS does have a little bit more amenities, but overall it's the same basic interior design. Now it is the tuxedo black metallic exterior color. You also do have smart key access on the driver's door and front passenger door. It does have a full-on black leather interior. Power driver's seat with power recline and power lumbar too. Now stepping inside of the Taurus here, you're greeted with a decent, luxurious, stylish looking cabin design, but it is getting a little long in the tooth, especially compared to some newer rivals. Now one gripe I do have is that this whole part right here does take up quite a bit of space, and it makes this vehicle feel much more confining inside. And what you want in a full-size sedan, for most people what they want, is they want roominess, and the Taurus certainly isn't one of the most roomiest in the class. Now you do have push button ignition, just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to start. And what you're hearing is a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, EcoBoost is what Ford likes to call it. Now you do have a leather wrapped steering wheel with wood grain on the top portion right here. Coming to your transmission, you have a 6-speed automatic with manual shiftability. Putting the vehicle into reverse displays your rear view camera with guidance lines. No trajectory here, but you do have rear parking sensors, as you can hear it right now. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on the lights and the hazards too. Driver's window and the passenger window are fully automatic. And I'm going to go ahead and pop up the hood and check out the engine bay. Heated chrome exterior mirrors, and you also do have a little blind spot mirror right there. Also rides on these pretty big 19-inch wheels. Overall, it's a fairly conservative looking design. Now you do have halogen projector beam headlights, and like I said, you do have LED accenting lights on the bottom portion. Overall, it's a pretty good looking front end, very bold. Now if you're looking for fuel efficiency, this is certainly the powertrain you will want to get in the Taurus. Like I said, it's a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder what Ford likes to call it is the EcoBoost motor. It produces 240 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque with EPA estimates of a pretty good 22 in the city and 32 on the highway. Now, your base powertrain on the Taurus is going to be a 3.5 liter V6, and that actually produces more horsepower at 288 horsepower and 254 pound-feet of torque, but its fuel economy is decreased at 19 in the city and 29 on the highway. Now, for the driving enthusiasts, you do have the option for the 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6, and that produces a pretty whopping 365 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. Now, this powertrain does deliver pretty good fuel economy and also decent amounts of power too. And the Taurus can be equipped with all-wheel drive. Now, competitors of the Taurus, you have the vehicles in the full-size sedan class. This includes the likes of the Toyota Avalon, Chevrolet Impala, Chrysler 300, Dodge Charger, and the Nissan Maxima. Now, trims start at the SE model, which starts at $27,055. The SEL starts at $29,485. And then the Limited, like how we have here, starts at $34,405. And then finally, the SHO model, which comes with the more larger 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6 engine, that starts at $40,220. Now, total vehicle price for this particular one is $36,160. Like I said, EPA estimates are 22 in the city and 32 on the highway. Coming to the rear, you have LED tail lamps with LED turn signals and dual exhaust tips. I think this is the most stylish part about the vehicle, is the rear end. Rear parking sensors too. Now you do have your power windows, power mirrors, and your power door locks. Nice soft touch armrest. Chrome interior door handles as well. And let's go ahead and rev it up. Now, as far as build quality and materials go inside of the Taurus here, it's actually decent. You have nice soft touch materials up here on the upper door panel. Mid door panel is also a decent soft touch material, and the armrest is also decently padded. Up here, it's all a really nice padded material, as well as right here too. And then build quality is also excellent as well. You won't find many panel gaps inside of this interior. Everything seems to fit pretty well together. So overall, build quality and materials are pretty good. Now, with the Taurus being a pretty tall vehicle, one thing I can't complain for sure is headroom. There's actually lots of it inside of here. Now, coming to the steering wheel design, Ford has been using this steering wheel layout for quite some time now. It's been since around 2010, 2011. It's getting a little dated. They use it in many of their vehicles, like the current Ford Explorer as well as the current Ford Edge. Now, coming over here, you have your cruise control buttons, and then this right here controls that little screen right there. And then this controls that little screen right there, which I will get to it later in the video. And then you have your steering wheel mounted audio controls, and then your Bluetooth and voice recognition. And you also do have a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel with power adjustable pedals too, which is an exclusive feature that Ford has been using since the early 2000s. Now coming down here, you have a little storage compartment. Then you will find a cup holder down there, and then two more cup holders, but you can actually adjust this, which is pretty cool. And then the center console lid is also decently padded. And then down there you will find a 12-volt power outlet, two USB ports, and an SD card slot. Coming up here, you have an auto dimming rearview mirror, sunglass container, and then interior illumination lighting. And the headliner is also decently plush. And then you also do have your garage home link right here too. Now coming to this lower section right here, you have your climate controls, and most of these buttons are going to be touch sensitive except for the fan speed dial. Now you do have dual zone automatic climate control. You have your temperatures right here, your front window defroster, rear window defroster, and then your recycling. Now one gripe I have with these touch sensitive buttons is that sometimes they won't work, and it can be a little bit finicky to use on a day-to-day basis. Now coming to the main head unit, we have the My4 Touch interface, and we've seen this head unit many times before. I'm not a huge fan of it. Now basically it's separated into four main corners, and it can be a little bit hard to use when you're trying to reach those little tiny corners. Now coming to your home button, you have your phone right there, your navigation, and then your heated and cooled seats, and then your media. Coming to climate over here, you can adjust the fan speeds. You also do have heated and ventilated front seats, and then basically all of the options from here are on to the touchscreen. And then coming to your media, you have your different media sources. This includes AM, FM, Sirius satellite radio, CD player, USB port, Bluetooth streaming audio, SD card slot, and your auxiliary input. And then you also do have your digital clock up there, as well as your exterior temperature readout. Now the responsiveness of the touchscreen has gotten better over the years. Now coming to settings, you can change many different settings, from the sound, the display, to the vehicle. Many different settings here, like the ambient lighting, vehicle health report, camera settings if you want to enable the valet mode. Now you also do have live traffic and live weather on this bad boy too, of course. But basically, overall, this head unit certainly needs a little bit of work. Thankfully, Ford is introducing a new system in the future called Ford Sync 3 that's going to be much better than the My4 Touch system in terms of user friendliness and responsiveness, which the My4 Touch system is lacking quite a bit. Now, as far as visibility goes in the Taurus, it isn't all that great, especially when you get to rearward visibility. The A-pillar right here is pretty thick. Outward visibility can be a lot better. And then, like I said, rearward visibility needs to be improved as well. Now, as far as seating comfort goes, the seats are okay. There's not a whole lot of side bolstering right here. Thigh support can be better too. But overall, these seats are decently plush, but they aren't the most comfortable seats in the full-size sedan class. Now coming to the instrumentation, in the center right there you have your speedometer, and then it gives you what gear you're in too. And that screen over here, it basically is going to show you various amounts of vehicle information. You have your fuel gauge. You can also change different display modes, like your distance till empty, and then your RPM gauge. And then you also do have your trip odometer, fuel economy data, which you can see your average fuel economy, and then driver assistance settings like your rear parking aid, and then other settings too. Now coming to that screen over there, you could basically change your radio station and change your media source too. You have your exterior temperature readout, your direction of travel, and your digital clock as well. But overall, the rendering and the graphics of these two screens are pretty superb. Now driving the Taurus, it really does feel like the big, heavy sedan that it is, to be honest. Now the ride is very comfortable, serene, and supple, and it really does excel well at that. Now power from the 2-liter EcoBoost motor is fairly good, and like I said, it does provide pretty decent fuel economy. However, this is no driver's car here. If you're looking for a vehicle that's more fun to drive in the full-size sedan class, I suggest checking out the Dodge Charger. Alright, and let's go ahead and shut it down. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle. Let's go ahead and pop the trunk. Now the trunk is fairly big, I have to say. Even for a full-size sedan, it's pretty big. This trunk is actually pretty heavy too. Now build quality and materials do follow through in the rear. Now sitting back here, it's pretty tight feeling, I have to say. Doesn't offer a whole lot of leg room. If you're looking for a more roomier sedan, definitely check out the Toyota Avalon. Now you do have rear air vents back here, and a power outlet, dual map pockets as well, and a rear center armrest with cup holders. But to be honest, it really does feel more like a mid-sizer inside of here than a full-size sedan. Even some mid-size sedans are even more roomier than the Taurus, like the Volkswagen Passat and the Honda Accord. But it's pretty confining in here for a full-sizer. Alright. Powered passenger seat with power recline and power lumbar. Glove box compartments, nice and damped and lined with felt. Pretty high quality there. Alrighty. So with its bold exterior packaging, very comfortable ride, and very large trunk, the 2015 Ford Taurus is a good rendition of the classic full-size American sedan. However, there are certainly other competitors to consider that are a little bit better in terms of overall comfort and amenities too, like the Avalon as well as the Chevrolet Impala and Dodge Charger. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.